Hello friends, welcome to today's class. So today we will go ahead and start with your next topic, which is nothing but your classes and objects. Okay. So friends, classes and objects has been a very familiar topic with you. You might have already studied about your classes and objects in your previous semester in your subject object oriented programming using C++. So remember friends, Python is also one is a type of object oriented programming itself. So we would be discussing the same thing here, that is how your Python would be a object oriented programming class. Okay. So before moving ahead, let's have a small recap which you already studied in your all the previous classes. So you can observe here, we will try to understand, we have already understood what are variables, how your variables are defined, what are the different types of variables, how do you assign the variables, and how do you fetch a value from a variable. All those things has been covered in the previous classes. Next, you also seen functions. What are the different types of functions? Fruitful function, not fruitful function. How to define a function using your def command, and how to fetch a value from a function using your return command, and how to pass the value to a function, and all those things you already seen in your functions module. To have a more intuition on these topics, you can go back and refer to those videos. And we have also seen your topic regarding your files. We have seen how to fetch a file, how to create a file, how to fetch particular items from a file, and all those things has been covered in the previous classes. Okay. So to move ahead, today we will look after your object oriented programming, and also we'll look after your classes and objects. Okay. So friends, you might have already known that we'll be using functions to organize the code, and we'll be using some built-in types to organize the data. That is, functions are both built-in as well as self-created. So you already know the functions. So the next step would be to learn your object-oriented programming, which is OOP, wherein your programmer will define how to organize both code and data. The code as well as data which you have created using your functions. So therefore this OOP is a very important topic, right? And coming to classes and object, if you want to study OOP, that is object oriented programming, classes and objects forms the fundamentals. That is, they will tell you how your classes are created and how your objects are created and how to fetch the values from your classes and objects. Okay. So before moving ahead to and define your classes and objects, I'll just try to give a small glimpse of what actually is this built-in types, right? So we have many built-in already defined data types, and we can also create some our more data types as well. To give a small example, we can say I'll create a type called as point, which is say two-dimensional. Okay. So a point would be a two-dimensional. A point in mathematics terms is nothing but what now it has two coordinates, say 0 1. 0 defines for x, y 1 defines for y, and so on. Okay. So there are several ways to represent a point in Python as well. What we can do is we could store the coordinates with respect to your x and y, like your 0 and 1. X represents 0, y represents 1. We could store the coordinates as elements in a list or tuple. That is, we already studied lists and tuple. We can use those. Or the third option we have is we would be creating the objects. So remember friends, a point could be stored in three types. That is, one is using two variables, x and y. You know them already. You using your list or a tuple. That also you know already. The third thing, the new thing which we will be studying henceforth, that is, your point could also be stored as a object. So creating a new type is more complicated than the other options, but it has very much advantages or lots of advantages which we'll be seeing in the upcoming classes. Okay. So whatever the defined type a programmer creates, it is called as a class. Okay. So before moving ahead to see how a class is defined, we'll look after what is a class. Okay. A class would look something like this. It is a complete template. It is a template, like say for example, I have a class of fruits. The fruits, whatever fruits we have, all will be coming inside this class. Remember friends, class will not be accommodating any memory. It is a memoryless element, but the objects which are there inside class will be accommodating memory. Like say for example, the class here we have is your fruits, but the objects inside them are what now? Banana, apple, and all those things. That means the objects will be accommodating the memory. To give you more understanding, you can take one more example here, wherein the class is what now here? Car. But the objects are what? The various brands of car. So that means you can observe here the class is a broad categorization, whereas objects will be to a specific type. Okay. Now moving ahead, an object is nothing but a physical entity. That is, it will be having a physical entity. Why we call it as a physical entity? The simple reason, because it accommodates or it consumes memory. So therefore it has attributes as well as it has behavior. That is, the attributes will be treated as variables wherein it will be storing the values, and methods would be the how you would be fetching the values from these variables are nothing but your methods. Okay, so this is very important thing, friends, to understand what is a class and what is a object. So I hope I am clear here to make you understand the difference between classes and objects. So moving forward, so as we are seeing, we are speaking of object oriented programming. We would like to define a few things. The first and very important thing is your Python is an object oriented programming language, very similar to your C++. So see friends, the only difference between your Python and C++, or the major difference, is the syntax. The syntax of your Python is very much similar, very much simpler compared to C++. But at the back end, it is again nothing but your object oriented programming language. Similar to your C++, here also we have a class which will be forming a basis for your object. So remember, OOP is nothing but it is completely depending on your class and objects. Now, what is a class? Just now we have seen in figures, that is here we have seen in the form of a figure. Now we will see in the form of the words. A class is nothing but it's a user defined data type which binds your data and function together into a single entity. Now, what is data? Data is nothing but your various various fruits, you can say, like banana is a data, and apple is a data, grape is a data. Now what are functions? The functions or the vitamins which your banana provides are nothing but your what now? Your functions. Okay, so in terms of programming, we can say data is nothing but your values. Say I have 1, 2, 3 such values, and functions are what you do with those values. Like, will you be squaring them, will you be cubing them, will you be adding them? So addition, squaring, subtraction, these are the functions. What is the data? Data is the numbers. So how do you bind these both? With the help of the class. So I hope it is clear. Class is one which binds data and functions. What is data? Are numbers. Example is numbers. What are functions? What you do with those numbers is your functions. Like say for example, your addition, subtraction, and all those things. Okay. So as I was speaking of, class is just a prototype. It will not consume any memory. That is, it is something which will not be consuming any memory. It just binds your data and functions. Now, what is an instance then? An instance is, an object is an instance of a class. That is, it's a part of a class and it has a physical existence. That is, it consumes some memory. Now, we can create n number of objects for a class. Like say for example, if you take here, the fruits is my total class. I have just added 4 objects, right? We can go on adding n number of fruits to it. Like say I can add a guava, I can add some tomato, something like that. So you can go on adding n number of objects to this fruit. But whereas the class is one, that is, the whole class is fruit. So you can say you can create n number of objects for a single class. Similarly, a class can have a set of variables and member functions. So what could be variables now? Variables are nothing but your, again, which store the data. Like if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that, then you will be storing those 1, 2, 3, 4 in some variables like x, y, and z. And what are member functions? What you do with those variables are nothing but using your member functions, which could be squaring, subtraction, and so on, as we discussed just now. Okay. Now, how to define a class? So this is how you define a class. A class can be created in a Python with the help of the keyword called as class. So you can see here I have created a class called as point, which will be which will be doing with the help of the keyword class. Okay. Now, once this class is created, you can put any values, any objects or any values inside this class. Here I have written that is pass. Okay. So if you print this class, then you will be seeing the whatever has been there inside the class. Okay. Now this is how you do your class using your Python. I have just put a snapshot of it. You can try it in your own shell mode. Okay. Now moving ahead, what this class does, a class object is like a factory for creating objects. That is, it goes on creating objects. So to create a point, you will call the point as if it is a function. So we have created a point, and if you want to call it, we will be calling it as a function. So this whole process or creating an object is called as instantiation, and the object is called as an instance of the class. That is, it is a part of a class. So you can observe here, after creating the class, we have created an object, and this object is called as instantiation, and its object is the instance of a class. That is, when you print an instance, the Python will tell you that what class it belongs. That is, the particular object will belong to what class and where it is stored in the memory. Say for example, you can see here it will be printed in the form of a hexadecimal number. So it also tells you where is my object stored in the memory. Okay, so this is how you create a object. Next comes is your attributes. Attributes is very important. Attributes are something that is how you can fetch the values. It is nothing but it is an element. It is an object which will be containing all your elements, which we call in your C++ or which we call in your objects as attributes. So we can assign values to these operators or to these attributes with the help of the dot operator, similar to your earlier things. I hope you have already used this dot operator when we will be using your methods. The same way we will be using here in your as well as your in your objects. That is, using dot operator we can assign values to your attributes. Now, so what is the next point? So you can see here we have drawn a state diagram. That is, we have created an object and class called as point, and using which we will be getting the object called as p, and this p is pointing to x. In turn, x is pointing to where now? 10. So how do you get these values? With the help of the dot operator. You can see here p dot x. So p dot x is nothing but what now? It is the value 10. So that means this state diagram is telling you how the object and its attributes is assigned. Okay, so to make it more clear, the syntax you can see here is similar to the syntax wherein we will be selecting a variable, such as you might have already seen math.py and so on. Okay, so these very important thing here is the state diagram will also is showing you how the assignment is made. That is, it shows the assignment between the object and its attributes. Therefore, it is also called as object diagram. Okay, so friends, I guess this is how you access the attributes. So you can see here, if I say print p dot x, it will go to p. From p it will go to x. From x it will fetch the value which is 10. Here you can see here first p, that is from p it will go to x. From x it will go to 10. Similarly, how to assign the attributes? Again, using your dot operator. That is, x is equal to p dot x. Then you will be getting the new value of x, which is 10. Right now we have assigned the same value. Now, how to use the mathematical expression? It is nothing but p dot x, which is nothing but what is there in p dot x? 10 multiplied by p dot y. What is there in y? 20. So 10 into 20, your area is 100. So this could be used in n number of ways. Like say for example, if I want to calculate the area of a triangle, then area of a rectangle, which is nothing but length into breadth. So if I want to do length into breadth, I will be fetching two values, x and y. Then I just multiply them. Okay. So this is how you will be calculating your length of a area of a rectangle. Okay. So here I will stop this, friends. We'll move ahead with the next class in the next lecture. Thank you.